Welcome back to What Arty Noobs for General Disturbance. This is the AMX 13 F3AM. It's the Tier 6 French SPG. It's located on the south sport of Redshire, and it's under the command of a fingernail clipping, and he's got the bounty rotation device, the improved gun laying drive, and an improved rammer. Game on! 2 marks of excellence on the barrel. And he's making himself a nest straight away, just to confuse the enemy, make it difficult for them to work out where the shells are coming from. This is one of the airborne Arties. There are several in the game, and it's a 155mm howitzer. It's capable of doing 630 alpha, and it will penetrate through 39mm of armor. It's got 7.6 meters burst radius, between 11 and 22 seconds of stun. He's looking at the top of the hill to start with because he anticipates that the enemy might be up there. And he fires around in. Oh, look at that. Good guess. Got a hit with his first shot. Somebody is actually suffering a massive loss of hit points right now, and they're not going to be happy. Oh, and I think it was this guy. He's missing a huge amount of hit points, and he's only showing 67 left. And either that was stunned by one of our teammates, or it was us. And I think it was us, actually, on this occasion. He thinks that 12-ton has just gone into the bushes there. I reckon he probably was there, but we just didn't do enough damage to kill him off. You may have noticed just we went past, but the other Arty on our team is an M44. It's a tier 6 game. Okay. Trying to get a shot. Oh, very close. Very close to the Skoda. Now, the French actually designed the AMX 13 F3AM in 1959, and they built them between 1962 and 1997. We're almost loaded, and that AMX 12-ton is going to be toast. He's gone. Nice shot. Very good one. They actually built 621 of these, and some of them were used for monuments after they were finished and the French army didn't have any use for them anymore. In fact, some of them were in some pretty dilapidated conditions because they looks like they haven't been cared for. I've got loads of pictures of AMX 13 F3AMs that have actually been placed in town squares, but they look pretty rusty, to say the least. Now, it is based on the AMX 13-ton tank, so it is basically a light tank. It was designed to be on a light tank because, of course, it was very lightweight, and that meant that, of course... And he's got another one! Churchill 7 bites the dust. Yes, a 13-ton tank could actually still carry the howitzer, but it also meant that it could be carried in an aircraft hold, so it could be taken out to any of France's colonies. France still does have a number of colonies around the world. Now, because it's so small, there's only room for two crew on the actual vehicle, the driver and the commander. Everyone else has to go by truck. But it is still a very effective arty. Now, he's firing based on the positions of what he believes to be the enemy support. And he's loaded in, and he fires one in, and he's now loading the non-stun HE. And yes, he was right to fire there because there is a tracer coming out from that area. So it looks like one of the enemy Arty, either the FV304 or the M44. I suspect it's the M44. Yep, because there he fired again. So the FV304 is actually in the bush, not... And he just killed him. Yep, lovely shot. Beautifully done. He worked it out exactly right. Fingernail clipping, knows how to do it. He could see the tracer. He knew that there was somebody there. Okay, his next victim's going to be a KB2. He's now up to 3 kills. You have to wonder, can he do a Top Gun? Well, it is relatively easy for those players with enough experience. And fingernail clipping is one of those players. Oh, we just saw another tank with very low hit points. That was an MT-25. You can finish that guy off, but he's still determined to go for that KV-2. Now, this Arty was actually sold to quite a few other nations. Argentina bought 24 of them. Cyprus bought 12. Ecuador bought 12. Kuwait bought 18. Morocco 98. Qatar 28. The UAE bought 18 of them. Sudan bought between 6 or 10. We don't know how many, of course, there are different figures. Chile bought 20. And Peru bought 12, and Venezuela bought between 12 and 20, and they probably still have them, and they're probably going to need them soon because they're going to find out when, of course, Maduro is finally replaced, because he's not a good little boy. He's been helping the drug runners, and obviously that's not going to work, going down too well in some countries. So I think there's going to be a little replacement of regime somewhere in South America. Anyway, enough of politics. We don't really want to talk about that. I want to talk about this Arty. Of course, the French bought it en masse. As I said, they built 621 of them. It's also one of the Artys with asymmetric aiming. So, of course, the arc is 35 degrees, but it's 15 degrees to the left and 20 degrees to the right. Now, can he get this MT-25? Fires the round in. Oh, yes! He got him. That's 4 kills now. Now, this Arty is also one which actually has 2-part ammunition. And so it's got a shell, and it's got a separate propellant cartridge. Okay, tried to get the CDT. Still did some damage to him, though. It doesn't have much in the way of armor, though. It's only 40 degrees at the front of the hull. 20 degrees on the sides and 15 at the rear. It does have a very high top speed though, 60 kilometers an hour. It's one of the few Artys in the game can exceed 60, so it can run away from enemy tanks. It's just fairly slow to accelerate. Over the Nashorn. Rounds out. Just missed him. But he did get stunned. At least it appeared that. Was it? No, it wasn't a stun because it was non-stun HE. Okay, so we're 1 up on the enemy at the moment. They've got 2 heavy tanks. We've only got 1. They've still got 1 Arty, which is the M44, and a Berza. The KV-1S is over the other side of the map. There's the KV-2, and he's badly wounded. This is also one of the Artys that actually does have gun depression. Surprisingly, in real life, in the game, they didn't give it any gun depression whatsoever. But you can actually fire this in real life with a gun depression of 6 degrees. And that means that you can actually shoot at close-range targets. Oh, and he got him. That's 5. 1 more to get a Top Gun, and there's 3 enemies left. And his team are enjoying this. They're seeing him take out these guys. The Churchill 7 thanked him for taking out that KB2. Of course, that means it's less problems for the Churchill, but the Burza on the enemy team is somewhere in that woods. Fires around in. Now, they have killed the enemy, the KV-1S, on the other side of the battlefield, so now he can, if he wants, move and get closer to the enemy. Of course, that will shorten the travel time of the shell. I mean, he's much more likely to get direct hit. Now, the Burza appears to have actually come closer, but that means a bit of a problem, because the thing is, the AMX 13 F3AM has very flat trajectory. And it means that because he's so close to the enemy, he's going to have to move away from the enemy to get an easy shot. And he's decided to do that by going over to the west side of the map. Unfortunately, we just lost our Churchill 7. We're looking at the Burza. It's about to come through that gap. We've got no shot from this angle. He needs to get over on the west side of the map. In fact, ideally, he needs to go up the hill just in front of him here. And if he can get behind those trees, then as soon as his teammate spots the Burza, he can nail him. His teammate in the other Arty, the M44, hasn't moved away, but in fact, actually, he's moving towards the enemy. I think he knows he's got to spot the enemy now. Okay, we can see the Burza. He's been spotted. And the M44 just took some damage. And he's just killed the M44, so we can just kill him. Rounds out. Well, we didn't kill him, but we certainly damaged him, and he doesn't know where we are. He probably guessed where we are, that we're on the hill, but it's the Jagdpanzer who's coming closer, and now he's the last enemy, and we need this kill in order to get our Top Gun. Let's hope that the Jagdpanzer Fear knows that, because we want to get this kill. We need this kill. Somewhere in there is the Burza. There he is! Yes! Top Gun! Here's the end of battle stats, and that was an ace tanker gain from fingernail clipping in the AMX 13 F3AM. He managed to get a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits in this game. He got 9, and he got a Top Gun for getting at least 6 kills. He got 6 exactly. His win rate was 3,878, which is Super Unicum standard. What a great shot, that last one, to make sure and nail that Burza and win his medal. Let's have a look at team score. Didn't get the highest damage in the game. That actually went to the Jagdpanzer Fear, who came up and spotted the enemy right at the end. He got the high caliber and 2,542 hit points. Second highest hit points was the Burza on the enemy team with 2,533. Not much difference between the two. And of course, yep, fingernail clipping came third with 1,890. And of course, his Top Gun. The T-37 picked up a patrol duty in that game as well for spotting 6 enemy tanks and being the only one spotting them whilst they were being damaged. When it came to kills in that game, yep, fingernail clipping got that one. 6 kills to him. 3 kills went to the Jagdpanzer Fear. 2 kills went to the Burza, the KB2 and the Skoda T40 on the enemy team. And everyone else, I've got 1 kill or nothing. And when it came to base XP, he got that one too. So he's got 2 out of 3, missed out on the third. He got 969 base experience points. The T-78 managed 948 and the Jagdpanzer Fear managed 926. He fired 20 rounds, got 6 direct hits on the enemy and 1 penetrating shot, 12 splash. Now, I suspect the penetrating shot was the FV304 and he totally wrecked the guy. Let's have a look at this. Where are you? There you are. Oh! Surprise! He didn't actually penetrate the FV304. He just overwhelmed him with HE. The penetrating shot was actually on the AMX 12 ton, and that was the first shot of the game, the blind shot on an AMX 12 ton who's sitting up on the hill thinking, yes, I'll spot all the enemy from here, and he got absolutely hammered, lost 810 hit points, or maybe that was the second shot afterwards, but he lost over 600 hit points with 1 shot right at the start of the game. And yeah, I think he was probably feeling pretty angry by then, but it was too late. And yes, he didn't get any further. He was taken out by a fingernail clipping. Going back to the details, he got 1,890 hit points of damage, of which 1,842 were at more than 300 meters. He damaged 8 of the enemy, killed 6, so he was on course to getting a Radley's, but of course he didn't get there in the end. He got 3 enemy damage caused to enemy vehicles that were stunned by you, 3 hit points. Yeah, I think somebody must have nudged into one of the enemy. No, actually, I think it was a near miss by the other Arty, which only did 3 hit points of damage, and it was to the CDT, and he caused 5 stuns, but all he got was that 3 hit points for somebody who was damaged while stunned. On a premium count, he made 69,657 credits from the game, including 50,000 bonus for a mission completion and 2,970 experience points out of that one, but he did get a mission completion bonus of 1,250 free XP, which is very useful. So the first game is a Masters and a win. Let's have a look at his second game. The second replay is on the North Spawn of Prokhorovka, and he's using the same equipment again. Okay, well, the moment he's actually ready to shoot, and there's a T-52 out in the field, got caught napping. I think he was just trying to move up too close. Oh, and he tagged him for 116. Now he's knocking these trees down to provide extra cover, so he can move about without actually getting spotted. Our Skoda's decided to go deep, and it looks like he's paid for it. But out here we can see that there's, yep, a Basotto, and our shell lands a little way in front of him, so we don't get anything off that one. So we're 2 down on the enemy at the moment. It's kind of unusual that Basotto was the one up on the edge. In fact, he's actually decided to make a rash decision of his own, and he's moved forward and got spotted. And yeah, that means he's probably going to get slotted. Rounds out. Yeah, that's a kill. Nice kill. Yeah, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't move out and get spotted, not at the start of a game on Prokhorovka. More than likely, you are going to get absolutely hammered by dozens of tank destroyers lining up to shoot you. We now see that that T-52 has suddenly appeared, but look at this Wizzy 131 light tank on the move. Now, we're loaded, but I think he said there's enough time gone there that he might not actually hit that guy. And he's decided not to shoot, to hold on to the shell. You only get 25 shells, actually, in this Arty, not 26 as I thought. Oh, there's one of the Arty. He just saw it, and he's loading a non-stun HE. It's a long-range shot. He wants to get the maximum damage. He's worked out the guys are right about there. He fires it in, but it looks like that Arty player may have actually moved after shooting. If he did, then good on him, because it means that he avoided the damage. That looked to me to be the exact spot to put the shell in to actually get the damage. And oh, this is not good for the M4A3E2, this super Sherman Jumbo, because there's a whole bunch of enemy tanks coming in on him, and it's a tier 7 game. So it looks like the enemy has just seized the east side of the map, and I think our Jumbo's about to die. Yes, he has died. The T-29 got him. So, yeah, this is not good. This means that not only have they seized the east side of the map, but our guys have actually fallen back. And that means we're now being squeezed into this pocket. And usually that means that we're going to lose the game because our team have given up the extra benefit of having the possession of the ground. The reason is obviously that most teams do tend to have a large segment of tanks who go to the west side of the map and try to go up the tree line on the road. And since we can't see any in this on the map at the moment, I suspect that they are still hiding in the trees. But their tanks have definitely captured the west. In fact, yes, the one in the tree is a T-150. Suddenly appeared. And although our Panther just killed their Wizzy 131, we're having a go at the T-150. And we did get some damage. In fact, the T-150 has gone down. We're now 4 tanks down on the enemy. They have position. They can push us and squeeze us in and make it easier to find us and kill us. This is going to be a very difficult game because we're going to have to keep switching and re-dialing in on the targets. Well, we get 127 of the Jagdpanther. And the enemy are, well, they're not stopping. They decided they're going to push us all the way. And the only thing a fingernail clipping can do is actually retreat right the far side, right into A1, get behind some of these bushes and start trying to repel the enemy as they get close. There's another reason for that, of course. I said before in the previous game that a flat trajectory on this Arty does make it difficult to get shells when you're close to an object which is actually higher than you, and more difficult to get shots on targets which were hiding underneath the drop of the terrain. So he's actually needing to move back to actually make sure that he can get the shells up over the rise and into the enemy. Okay, should be able to hit these two. The Super Hellcat's the ideal target to go for because he's got very thin armor. Instead, he goes for the IKV-65 too. And Arty shell fired in this direction. Yep, the enemy Arty saw the trees going down and realized that somebody was over here. And because fingernail clipping did move out from that spot because he realized he'd given away his position, he didn't get hit. But the Poodle did, and he's lost 174. But now the enemy Arty knows that there's definitely somebody over here. And in fact, he's trying to nail us. They've got 2 Artys. They've got a GW Panther and an M44. And it looks to me like both of them are trying to nail him specifically. Okay, the Poodle's a one shot. He's gone. The Crusader SP got him. Okay, there's that Super Hellcat. We should be able to completely blow him out. Ready out. Rounds. Yep, that's a good hit. 196. He's changed position. If you ever hear that saying, lightning doesn't strike twice, sometimes it does help to move into the shell crater from a previous hit because more than likely they're not going to try and hit the same spot twice. But sometimes the shell does go to the same spot, and he's trying to line it up on the IKV. Goes long. Well, the scores are now, well, we're only 1 down now, but it's still that we've got the a bad situation when it comes to territory. The enemy are squeezing us into this quadrant, and it's now up to them to decide when they take us out. Enemy Arty firing in our direction. Misses us and gets the Crusader, or gets close to him. There's the CS44. Got a red line once it gets past him, so line up ahead, rounds out. Yup, that did damage. And the enemy RT tried to nail us again, but this time round he failed. The CS44 has gone into the cap and is sitting alongside the AFK, who was sitting in there. Enemy RT firing at us again, missed. There he is. Rounds out. Oh, that was a direct hit. Enemy RT firing again. Again, misses. So the enemy RT is definitely trying to counter battery both of our enemy RTs. Sooner or later, we're going to have to try and get a reset by stunning or at least splashing that tank. And I think that's what Fingernail Clippings decided to do. And he did get a reset. Oh, he killed the CS44. He got splash. So that now has at least brought it back by one. No, and a teammate dies, which means that now I'm afraid we're outnumbered 2-1. It's just the two Arty and the T25-2 left. So it's not looking good. He's desperately searching for a target. I'm afraid our Crusader and the T25 are very close together, which is going to make them more likely to get hit. And the enemy Arty is still focusing in our general direction. They're playing a guessing game. They're laying rounds down where they think we might be. And that was close. Two shells landed close together, but they weren't close enough to get some damage on us. And in fact, they're trying again. You hear that rumble? That means another shot's on the way in. You can see the ground is pretty much covered. In fact, you can see there's two shell craters close together. Okay, the AMX, the 40TP is looking, and he's found our guys. Oh, that was a good hit. 339, but we did get spotted by the enemy. Oh, we've taken a direct hit from the IKV. And we are out the game. And there's only the Crusader left. He's trying for a close range shot. It failed, and that is the end of the game. Here's the end of battle stats, and despite that being a defeat, that was still an ace tanker game for a Fingernail Clipping in the AMX 13F3 AM. He managed to get a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 17 in that one, so he was really pushing it. He also got a Gauze medal for doing more damage, exceeding 8 times the hit points for his own vehicle. And he got a Defender medal because he reset the cap when the guy had at least 70 capture points. So he was very close to winning. And yes, he put that round in just the right spot to actually not only splash the guy and get the reset, but he actually took him out as well with that shot. So obviously that was a very good one. And that earned him a medal. He got a win rate of 5,312 from the game, which is super unicum and a bit more. But sadly, it was a defeat because his team let the enemy push them into the corner, which is the last thing you should do on Prokhorovka. We look at the team score, we can see the highest damage in the game actually belonged to the IKV-90B, and he got a piece of a Fingernail Clipping right at the end of the game, just before we got wiped out by the IKV-65-2. That guy picked up the high caliber and a Confederate for 3,163 hit points of damage. Second highest was, in fact, a fingernail clipping with 2,608. And the third highest, well, that turned out to be the Jagdpanther, who managed 2,573. When it came to kills, it was actually shared between the Chi2 SP on our team and the Jagdpanther on the enemy team. Both got 3 kills apiece. 2 kills went to a fingernail clipping and the Crusader SP on his team. And on the enemy team, it's their IKV-90B, their T-29, the IKV-652, of course, he's the guy who killed fingernail clipping, and a T-52 as well. When it came to base XP, well, it's the enemy team, isn't it? The T-29 got 929, the IKV-90B got 844, and the Jagdpanther managed 830. Despite that, fingernail clipping did get 669, the second highest on his team, and that's quite a respectable score, considering it was actually from the losing team. He was only beaten by 5 members of the enemy team and 1 of his own team when it came to the XP. So, in actual fact, he was in 7th place when it came to base XP. He fired 18 rounds, got 5 direct hits on the enemy, none of them penetrated, but he did get 18 splashes as well. 2,608 hit points of damage, of which 2,181 were at more than 300 meters, so there was some close range shooting. He also received 2 hits, both penetrated, both came from the IKVs. The 90B hit first, then the IKV-652, and that was the end of the game. 11 enemy vehicles were damaged, 2 were killed, so he actually had a 9 difference there, but no Confederate. 716 hit points of stun assist off 11 stuns, and he actually got 83 defense points when he reset the cap, so that guy was very close to winning the game just by capping out. On a premium count, he actually made 34,980 credits from the game. He got the Courageous Resistance Award because, of course, he got a Battle Hero and an Epic Medal in the game. So 5,907 extra credits for that. He also got 25 bonds for a mission achievement. And on top of that, he got 1,570 experience points. So first game, yes, he did get the last kill of the game in that one and a nice little Top Gun and Ace Tanker. And of course, in this one, he did get another Ace Tanker and an Epic Medal as well, but it was a loss. So you can't win them all. But this was the more recent one of the 2. Hope you enjoyed those replays. If you did, please give this video a like, and thank you for watching.